Eastern Highlands has always remained a wonderful contributor to the cause of our country, past, today, and I definitely sure going forward into the future. So I just want to step back on behalf of your country, sincerely thank, and for those of us who are coming in from outside for tonight, Chief Secretary and your team from the national departments, our Minister Duma and our ministers and vice ministers from our national parliament and our national executive council, let us step back and say thank you to Eastern Highlands Province, the entire people from the length and breadth of Eastern Highlands. Thank you for forever being a blessing to Papua New Guinea. I am one of such blessings. I am one of the beneficiaries of such blessings that you continue to cast over our country. Little did you or me know, passing to Eastern Highlands in my 53 years of my life. My mom says I was born in 1970, my dad says I was born in 71. I don't know which is correct. But whatever it was, I spent 4 years of my life, good life, 5 years of my life, brother, in Eastern Highlands. 1981 in the Obura-Wonenara district in a little place called Obura. And of course, most of you know my 4 memorable years in Kabiufa, 1986 to 89. I wish I could take that back. When you sit in these sort of meetings and you realize you've got old, you've got white hair and you're losing your hair also. You just want to be young again. And if there is any phase in my life, I want to be young again. And it's really the 4 years I spent in Kabiufa. And so when it comes to this sort of occasions, you want to, recollect on life and ponder on what has life offered you. And suddenly realize that you don't have much left in the tank in terms of the balance of life you have. For those of us who are alive today, the balance of life we have, especially if you've gone past 35, you've lived half your life already. You've gone past 35. And so, needless to remind you of your age, but you go back home and recollect tonight how old you are and measure against 70 years, if not 80. The reason why I say you have your life at 35 is because my Bible, which is never wrong, our Bible anyway, says average life is 70, if not 80. That's all we have. 70, if not 80. My brother Kabiufa, we were young running around and he's sitting there, look and say, singing. You're very, very tonight. What is the balance of life we have today, Mr. Gore? Stephen Gore, thank you for conducting a good election. I lost some pangu, including the Honorable Polio guy sitting there, but some won, and the winning class, we're here together. That's life. It's not really about winning for a parliament seat or winning the big basket of resources to take home. For the wise man, Solomon says, what is the relevance of accumulation of wealth, of building of houses and mansions, and living a life of abundance on earth? You look at the book of Ecclesiastes, I'm no pastor, but please, I just have to say this, if you don't mind. Because there are wise words inside. It says, vanity, vanity is life. The 70 years just comes and goes so fast in your life. I look at my own life, 53, 54 now. The first 53, 54 years of my life has come and flown so fast like this. But did I get 70? I got about 16 more years to go. 16 more years to go. You do your own mathematics. Your mind will deceive you that you will live on and on. That's a deception. Satan gave Eve right from day one. Eat, you will not die. So don't be deceived that you will live on and on forever. We are passing through. And I just want to quote on the famous word of the late President John F. Kennedy. United States President John F. Kennedy, January 20th, 1960, when he was inaugurated, the youngest president ever. At the time and still the youngest president ever, but one of the most profound most quoted president of the entire history of the United States. He may become second to Abraham Lincoln in the way people quote him up to today. Because he lives just 2 years or 2.5 years in office, yet his vision, his drive was profound that set the stage for what is modern United States today. You know what he said in his first statement? Ask not what your country can do for you. And I just want to quote him tonight. Time is short. It's not just the 5 years I'm looking at, but your life. Time is short. And I re-quote this word: ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Our time is short. And when I made this statement, the richest black Christian nation, everyone laughed. But leadership makes call for their country, make a lofty dream for their country, and allow the nation to rise up to the challenge. That's the same statement Somare made when he launched the Vision 2050. He said by 2050, we must be a middle-income earning nation in the top 50 nations of the world. It is achievable. It is not impossible. If we, all of us, ask not what we can get or the country can give us, the country is already given us. That is why we are in this privileged position. It is our time to give back to the country. And Eastern Highlands, you have done well by giving to the country, but I want you to empty your tank tonight and going forward in the balance of life you have. It's a short balance of time. 70 years. Each and every one of us has a short time left. Not just the 5 years that is before us in this term of 11 Parliament, but in our life, in the talent that we have. You know, the same John F. Kennedy, on a very eventful day, 12th of September, 1962, he made a statement. He made a statement that man will go to moon within 10 years. Man will go to moon within 10 years, and not just man, but the United States will go to moon within 10 years. And people laughed at him. They thought he was crazy. Science was not yet advanced. Technology was not yet advanced. America was still finding its way after World War II. His critics, in fact, Nixon, the one who was president in 1969, July 20th, when Neil Armstrong put first human legs on moon, Nixon was one of his harshest critics. He said, "You are going crazy, you're going long." And when he made his statement at Rice University in Texas, you know why he said it? The reason why I'm saying man must go to moon in 10 years and the United States must lead this course in advancement is because the task is not easy, but because it is hard. And I'm challenging the United States to the highest, to rise up to the highest. And when you rise up, you will mobilize the power of innovation, technology, science, and education. And America will be the leading nation on earth based on science, technology, and innovation. He died a couple of years later. Because life is short. 70 years, he died a couple of years later. But true to his calling, the United States, not 10 years, but walked on moon only 7 years after he made a statement. The one who was his harshest critics was the president to see Neil Armstrong walked on moon within the 10-year window that he casted. Today, and I speak to all of us public servants, not those who are in the private employment in Better Paradise Hotel, or not those who are unemployed, but those of us who earn money from the waning public accounts, politicians in the first instance and public servants in the second instance, at all levels. Ask not what your country can do for you. When I made the richest black Christian nation statement, I didn't ask Papua New Guinea to go to the moon in 10 years. All I asked was for us to recommit to the cause of the Vision 2050 and all of us to find our role in the very big plan of our country so that we can leave no one and no place behind and all of us contribute to make our country a better place. There will be a time coming when you are no longer under the shade of a public salary or wages. You'll be out there in your country. What is the country that you will retire to? Is this the country you are building today or the country you are destroying today? And when new members of parliament like Governor Sia comes in and sees that the Yanopa building is totally broken and run down, that's a honest appraisal to the state of not just Yanopa building in Eastern Highlands, but to the rundown state of the country we have been cast as stewards over. And the last 48 years, our country has gone down, but we have to pull it back, pull on the handbrake, arrest it, and start to move forward. The last 4 years, we've taken stock of how we've come. It wasn't easy. We were going into a sinkhole of economic debt. We had to pull on the brakes by restructuring our financing structure in our budget system, lifting up the burden of debt, an unsustainable debt, to a sustainable debt, and work on a refinancing tool so that within 10, 12, 13 years, we are debt-free and growing economy in the first instance. That is why as part of that focus, we've cleaned up over now going 3 billion kina of past governments, contract issued, money not paid, debt we were carrying in our books. We have over 5 billion kina of debts, government contracts issued unpaid. Example, Goroka Airport completed, counterpart unpaid. Goroka Hospital completed, counterpart unpaid. Highlands Highway mobilization, work happening, counterpart unpaid. And proper redesign of Highlands Highway so that standard is not compromised and lifted to world-class standard. We put in this cleaning up all outstanding liabilities as well as putting on our new programs so that we build an economy that is sitting on credible, reliable infrastructure to carry our country going forward into the future. Last 4 years was never easy. Who thought COVID-19 would hit us? I want to be honest with you. I never wanted to be Prime Minister. I resigned from Hon, never intending to be Prime Minister. And it still came back to me. I have my own reasons. When I write my book, you will read why I didn't want to be Prime Minister. But it kept coming back to me. Not knowing, I never saw COVID-19 in 2020. I saw the economic problem and I saw political crisis. Two big things, and I didn't want to handle these two things in my life. Yet, we are going through these motions. We came out through COVID-19 phase. We come into economic mismanagement phase. We have stabilized the ship. We've now put in the right road where it should travel on, where we eliminate debt, build the economy, share development to all parts of our country. And today, in the last 3 years, every district has received more money. This is not in time of abundance, but in time of scarcity. When global economy was going through tough times, we made more money available to the districts like never before. You do your mathematics, Eastern Highlands. I have the Honorable Pogio Gate, former member of Daulo, sitting here. I commend you for coming in to give respect to the current member. That's good leadership. That's good leadership. He will confirm. Last 3 years, starting 2019, 2020, 2021, including 2022, we've given minimum 15 million kina each across all districts. And if you do your own mathematics for Eastern Highlands, let me do the mathematics here. Because this is public money, I got to account to our people. I got to account to our people. Hold your phones, 15 million times 8 districts, correct? 15 times 8 and how much? 120 times 4 and how much? 480. Well, I'm not talking about provincial budget and PSIP, or the 63 billion kina I brought and gave to Eastern Highlands Provincial Government in 2021. I'm just talking about DSIP going to district. 480 million kina in the last 4 years in tough times. Waigani has released the money. Instead of Waigani doing projects, we release the money to the districts. You know, when people are tired, we have talked about night, but enough you make them talk this enough. Liberal police are talking said. You got 3 black and line of houseman. 1 black was a light of Panin Kaikai. Time we said houseman before time we got no power also now. She now hospital get fire was all light. By 7 o'clock, lights are like in Kaikai or pedal or fireplace or Kaikai or sleepings. Or sleepings. Now you got a second or bishop of Kaikai or second group. And we'll end to sleep. So 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock here, they were pulling windpills, no houseman. But you got 3rd group of line for having talk and they sit late into the night and they listen to talk. You know, talk drives the society. Talk passing on information to the next generation. Before no classroom. Now you got classroom, you're writing, or some are reading, or some are reading, but not still a phone. Before it's having talk from one generation to another. Word is important. I just want you to give me next 20 minutes for you to know what national government is doing. Word keeps you alive. Word gives you information. Word tells you where we are. And one of the questions I put, the 480 million kina under our government's release from Waigani into Eastern Highlands. Mr. Tomba sitting here, the Provincial Finance Manager. I want to ask you, is there sufficient evidence of adequate matching development equivalent to 480 million kina in Eastern Highlands Province today? It's just not Eastern Highlands, but the same question I would put to the entire country. That is why we're setting up National Monitoring Authority to be not only run by public servants, but run by auditing firms, accounting firms, stakeholders, because it is stakeholder money we are budgeting and dispersing through the districts and through our provinces. Districts will forever remain an important point of service distribution. Provincial government will remain an important focal point of coordinating, supervising and service delivery. But as we look back, have we delivered to the money's worth that we have received? Public servants, ask not what your country can do for you, but what we can do for your country. My brothers in Parliament, all of us, our time is short. Plans are plans, but without converting our plan into actual work is wasted opportunity, wasted time, and we will account not just to our people at the end of the election period, but more importantly, account to the giver of life. The giver of life. And I just want to encourage all of us going forward. Our government is placed and positioned in a better place like never before. Our 200 billion economy target, we will realize within the 10 years I said in 2019. When I made the richest black Christian nation statement, I said, keep finger on the economy. The economy hits 200 billion kina. We are on our way to the destination. There's nothing wrong with this. I give you all 4 years of achievement. The last 4 years, we've grown the economy by 34 billion. Mr. O'Neill grew the economy in 8 years, 8 good years, by 33 billion. He took over the economy that was a 44 billion. I took over the economy that was a 79 billion. Today the economy is 113 billion in 4 hard years. Shutting down program, renegotiating for a better program, but shifting focus into agriculture and sustainable sector. Today, our agriculture production is starting to pick up. And our Eastern Highlands, don't worry about gold, gas and oil. These are resources depletable. You focus on what is your God-given strength. Your power, your agriculture, your good capacity to put away where tourism will flock into Goroka. Just focus on the strength area. Stay behind your leadership. Don't worry if he sits in the opposition. He does not need to join Pangu. He's a man of solid substance. Election is over. You have right to go to pension, you can do that. But public service, let's not disturb the flow of government services. Stay behind a leader already in place by the ballot. And for Eastern Highlands to rally behind one leadership, one team, one dream, one vision. Bring that one dream, one vision, one plan into National Planning Ministry, into finance place within the medium-term development plan 4, which by the way, where will be Marape, Pangu, Duma, URP, our own government's plan for the next 5 years. We were operating MTTP 3. That was not my plan, but we had to operate it. Today is MTTP 4. We are unbundling resources straight to your districts and to your provinces. Are you willing to rise up and not squander and not waste, but hit the bull where it matters most? You plus a play data moment. Nisa start coming from a promenade data. Quanta blow. I can make una. Couple motofonana. Go if you find a slap from my data around the place. You hit in bull and you mantle. You hit in side and what take it. As we work in simple terms, find the bull for your province. Find the bull's head for your province. Whilst we want to bring big resources scarce, even as we ramp up resource allocation, that 20 million kina per year, or whatever it is not sufficient to meet all needs for 1 year. But hit the bull for that year. Next year, hit another bull. Following year, another bull. And build on, and let's make it happen in Eastern Highlands. I have total belief in leadership in Eastern Highlands because the people in Eastern Highlands is good. The people in Eastern Highlands is good. And I want to conclude, as we focus on the big things, let us count our children amidst us. I'm very, very concerned in the children of our country. That is why we put the second chance learning, the flexible open distance education program. That gives second chance to those who left grade 8, grade 10, grade 12, or are doing nothing in our villages. Eastern Highlands Provincial Education Board work and ensure your current secondary schools, vocational schools, and high schools are points of distribution of flexible open distance education to all our youths under 30 in our midst. We have to embrace it. It is really the future we're working to secure. Just embrace them also as you do the roads, as you work the big stuff. Let's pick our youths back to our place. The churches are doing it, the parents are struggling, leadership must pick them under the embrace of education and allow the churches to pick them under the embrace of churches. And I want our Provincial Education Board to rise up. We're rolling out grade 9, 10, 11, 12 for second chance in a big way. 50,000 kids right across the country are now doing it themselves. I want every provincial government to have a formalized structure in every province to pick the 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, 18 years to 30 years who are in our midst, currently lost to marijuana, lost to STEM, lost to homebrew, who are doing nothing. Pick them back to the second chance learning and link them to SME or other opportunities we can find for them. I want to conclude by asking you this special favor. Please bring our youths back. I come from a province that has seen youths running wild. I don't want Eastern Highlands. I don't want Western Highlands. I don't want Chibu. I don't want Jiwaka. And I don't want Marape and the rest of our country to lose our youth. The bubbles are there. If leadership do not embrace our youths, we can lose them, not in 10, 15 years, but in this term of parliament. And it's an urgent call I place on Eastern Highlands leaders. As you work to fight for money for your roads, road is national government function. We'll supply money to districts, for district road, we'll supply money to province or provincial road, we'll supply for national connect PNG missing links. We'll ensure that hospitals and schools, education, everything is funded. But I ask you, let's account for our people, and in the account of our people, pay special concentration to the youths amidst us. Let's pick them up as we work the plan for our people. Ask not what your country can do for you. Let's do it for our country. I'm not asking us to go to the moon. I'm just asking us, go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. Earn your honest life. Earn your money. Public servants sit in office. You have a good administrator now, appointed on merits. And I want to say apology to the other two. The other two, I also know them personally. I'm a Goroka man and I know this Gorokas back to front. But the due process was followed. The best ranking candidate emerged. We appoint someone. There's only one person. But work remains for all of us. Only one person for administrator. There's only one person for prime minister. There's only one person for a portfolio. There's only one person for a member of parliament. But there is work for all of us. Wherever we are. And I know we can do. I have hope and faith in me that good people still live on. I see my sister Florence in there. She does not demand attention. She does not request government to support. But she's an advocate of Bilum and Bilum industry, doing her best and bid for the country, wherever she's placed based on her talents. That's the type of woman and man we need in our country, and not the paper pushers of Port Moresby. Not the paper pushers and pen pushers and WhatsApp pushers of Port Moresby, but the real men and women in society. With a program for SME, with a program for coffee, with a program to grow business, with a program for second chance education. We have Connect PNG program running. We're fighting to get back more from our resources. And these are programs we're running, but these will be totally wasted if men and women in driver's seats, in where you are placed, from office outside in the fields to members in parliament, if we do not work together, putting our country first, these efforts will be wasted. God bless each and every one of you. Counterbalance your life and use it for your people of our country. Thank you.